Hello and welcome to the latest Global Sports Social. I'm Michael Bailey. It's lovely to see you. It's a bit windy here, but hopefully we will survive. Welcome to today, which is Friday, June the 20th. Yes, sorry, I appeared to have got the month wrong last time. Australia is ahead of everywhere else, but not quite to the degree of a month. I wish it had been a deliberate issue as well, but it wasn't. It was just my brain being a bit silly. In fact, I didn't realise until people started telling me. So thank you for telling me. I always appreciate that. But it is June and it is summer, although not here. It's very much winter here. I have come outside because my lovely colleague at The Athletic, Seb Stafford-Bloor, beautiful man, sent me a message saying that he was a little bit disappointed with the opening two Global Sports Socials because they didn't really carry enough of a Australian theme for him. Maybe there wasn't quite enough danger. So I have come outside because, as we all know, if you're outside in Australia, you're literally within a few feet of death or something that will kill you. I also appear to be, it might tip it down any minute. We're not far from the Indian Ocean, which is amazing, but it does look like it might just leather it down at any point. So that will be a good cut away, or maybe I won't cut it. Maybe I'll just let the video run. And it might be a bit windy, but I'm hoping it won't be too bad. Also, sorry for the delay since my last one. I know that I embarked on this promising daily videos, maybe every other day. As I also said at the start, this is a work in progress. So I'm trying to figure out what is realistic here. As my little boy told me this morning when I got up, "You look tired, Daddy." And yes, so I'm trying to figure out how to balance everything whilst doing this, because I do want to do it. So hopefully if we can do several a week, that will be okay. So thank you as always for the patience. What am I going to talk about? Well, I am going to talk about what I've done this week. What have I done this week since I was last on? Yes, Game 5. I've done Game 5 live of the NBA Finals, which was a fantastic evening for Oklahoma City Thunder, OKC. But they have since lost Game 6 in Indiana, which it must be really interesting how you deal with a series like that in the finals. Because, I mean, to me, it looked like OKC. Obviously, it'd be great to win it in Indiana, but you can almost reconcile it with yourselves that Indiana is a great team. We've been undone. They've played really well. So we'll, go back to Oklahoma City and go and finish it off. But these are two great teams. You can't actually think like that. You've got to be at it, because Indiana are perfectly capable of winning the NBA Finals in OKC's backyard. It's been a remarkable series. I think it's the first time the Finals has gone to a Game 7 since 2016. So that's some statage for you. It's just so hard to pick them apart. It's been a joy to watch. Game 5 was lit up by Jalen Williams, who was immense and is clearly a hugely talented, young, rising star of the entire league. But I guess because I'm sort of getting stuck into far more sports now in the last year or two, and that's going to continue. I'm just fascinated by how everyone deals with the interviews and like the media side of it. Like, I can tell that a lot of American sports, those interviews around the game are there, and they're there to serve a broadcast purpose, but they're also really short and sharp and probably of limited use other than just small windows into how people are feeling at that moment mid-game, which is fascinating in itself. And then post-match, Jalen Williams just spoke so brilliantly about his mindset and how he deals with things. It was really eloquent. And there was something else he said, I think, about the fact that he knew he would bounce back from a difficult previous game because he's nice. And I just think that the dynamic of having someone who's got real class and emotional intelligence and seems really grounded and yet is so good at what they do on whatever the field is that they're doing it. I just think that's so awesome. That's one of the most compelling sights in sport. Although, admittedly, so is someone who has a complete lack of control of their own emotional intelligence and is just a bit of a rumman. Jalen Williams, he's been fabulous in the whole series. Game 7 is going to be awesome. I think it's on Sunday night, which is my Monday morning, so already looking forward to that. The other things I've been doing, I did my first live Club World Cup game, my second live Club World Cup game. I forgot about my Inter Miami El Ali extravaganza on opening night. This was even worse. No, I mean, in fact, it was Juve against LA, and Juventus were so good, and I actually hadn't really appreciated how many wonderful young players they've got. I mean, they were given a load of room to shine, but They looked wonderful. I'd be excited, I think, if I was a Juve fan. Again, they were 5-0 up. 4-0 up at half-time, I think, and it feels like a long time ago now, but it was a steamroll. And there have been a few of those in the early stages of this tournament. And maybe the Club World Cup will get some criticism for that. But I think this tournament will start really ramping up once it gets to knockout stages. I don't necessarily think that means there'll be big crowds or anything, but it's fun. I think I'm enjoying it, but that's probably because I'm not watching much of it live, and I also don't think it's really resonating with a particularly big audience in the US. So we will see how it develops. Remarkable, obviously, that Lionel Messi still manages to win games by walking up to a free kick and putting it somewhere where the goalkeeper can't reach, even though I'm pretty sure he started on that side of the goal. The guy is just a machine, and I'm genuinely shocked that Inter Miami beat a side like Porto, to be honest. And Botafogo, well done for beating PSG. That was a big surprise as well. So that's a lot of fun. I kind of want the South American teams to do really well. There's no rationale to that. Just be cool, wouldn't it? And then the reason I'm looking tired today is because I had the joys this morning of helping out Michael Dominski, the magic man himself, cover the USMNT, the men's national team under Mauricio Pochettino. They were playing Saudi Arabia in the Gold Cup, which is basically like the Euros, isn't it, I think, but for CONCACAF teams, which is also happening in the US at the same time as the Club World Cup. I think it's been a bit of a logistical nightmare, but they won 1-0 in a game that everyone has probably already forgotten the game. And I felt very strange watching a US men's team without Josh Sargent even just sitting on the bench waiting to come on. So I'm sure it was great, but I don't think there's many brain cells in my head that remember what happened. But hey, they got the win, so that was most important. May I also say, well done to the Florida Panthers for winning the Stanley Cup, which again, didn't catch any of that. There's a lot of sports here I'm not catching, but I am following. And I've actually learnt the first name of McDavid, the world's best hockey player, by accounts, Conor. So Conor McDavid is the name you need to know. Quite interesting that he is supposedly the best player in the world. I'm not doubting it, I just can't make that call myself. And it might all kick off with him now because the Edmonton Oilers have been in the Stanley Cup finals the last 2 years and lost them both times to the Florida Panthers. And he's now got a year left on his $1 billion deal, might be $100 million contract. And so maybe he'll end up somewhere else now to go and pursue his honours, which did kind of make me wonder, and you guys can answer this because I can't think of it off the top of my head. But can you think of your favourite or the best, most deserving sports star in any sport that you can think of that didn't actually end up winning the thing they should have done? Because there's got to be a few of those. I mean, I guess in some things like maybe the Tour de France or whatever, there were people robbed by others. Maybe if Manchester City gets stung by all these 100 and however many charges it is, there'll be a few football clubs in England that might feel that too. I just wonder if there's an individual who should have won something but didn't. And then I guess why? Did they just miss out because they weren't quite good enough? They weren't as good enough as people thought? Or did something go wrong around them? Was someone else there to get in the way? Happens loads of times. It's the sort of thing I would Google and search. It's actually probably quite a good piece for The Athletic, actually. I should probably pitch that to an editor. But yeah, let me know in the comments, because this is all about hearing from you. It's a social. I'll have a think as well. I'll see if I can come up with something next week. If I don't mention it ever again, you'll know that I haven't done. My mention of the World Test Cricket final last week was pertinent, because we are apparently now doing cricket coverage on The Athletic with Paul Newman, essentially, and some of my colleagues, and I'll be getting myself involved in that, especially as I'm in Australia. It seems like a no-brainer. So really exciting. If you guys are cricket fans, then The Athletic is the place to be for cricket as well. We'll do a grand job on that, as we do with all the sports. I'm such a good salesman. So that will be grand. Go the cricket. And then I twigged in terms of soccer, as well as watching the USMNT. We had a curious announcement here from the Socceroos. They were like, something big is going to happen. Watch out for it. And the comments to that post were hilarious, because it was all sorts of things about, I can't actually remember them, but it was a funny thread. And I was like, I'll have to make sure I check back in on what that was. And I think a few of the comments had called it as being a sponsorship announcement. I don't think anyone does sponsorship quite like Australia, because everything is pretty much sponsored and nailed down, but it's not, I don't think it's necessarily always as thought out as it is in the US. So, yeah, Commonwealth Bank are sponsoring the Socceroos because they qualified for the World Cup and they potentially jumped on the bandwagon. Who am I to say? I did then go back to try and check over some of the replies initially because it was quite funny. And that initial post had gone. That's obviously how social media works now. You just delete it and pretend it never happened and just leave the announcement there in the ether. The other thing that I clocked is that the Premier League fixtures are out, and never has something told me I'm in need of a rest from football than the Premier League fixtures coming out and me literally not giving a toss about it. I could not think of anything. And there used to be a time where every year I would be so excited about the fixtures coming out, predominantly with Norwich City, but just in general, oh my God, these fixtures are out. It's not even like you're not going to play a team or you're going to play someone more than anyone else. It's always everyone twice, home and away. It's just the order, which I do, by the way, think is important because it can dictate the momentum of the season. I could not tell you a single Premier League fixture now. Not a clue. Give us a break. My God, give us a break. Just a little bit. There's enough other sports to go around. Anyway, with that, I will now concentrate on prep for the Club World Cup group games as they continue. So yeah, next week, or what's coming up for me, Game 7 of the NBA Finals. I'm very excited about. I don't know, I might just watch it. I don't know if I'm working it. I've got a bit of Formula 1 prep to do because it's the Austrian Grand Prix next weekend, which I'm covering, which I'm excited about. I know that Wimbledon is coming into view as well, and the French Open, as you'll have already heard, was fantastic. So Wimbledon is exciting too. We're also doing a special series of tactics podcasts. I don't know if you may not know, but I host the Athletic FC Tactics podcast, or I did last season. I'm hoping I get to do it next year. But we're doing a closed season series on football's architects, which is exciting. I don't know if I'm allowed to actually mention that. Well, you know, it's only a small audience here, so it'll be fine. But yeah, we're doing those, getting those in the bag. So I think I've got another one of those or two still to record. But that's exciting. So keep an ear out for those. Just search on your podcast player, the Athletic FC Tactics podcast, and catch up on some of the ones from last year, because although some of them are match reviews, I've woken up the dog, although some of them are match reviews, some of them are on evergreen tactics subjects, and the whole feed was brilliant, set up by Michael Cox and Ali Maxwell originally a few years ago. So yeah, give it a look on your podcast player. So yeah, as well as your favourite sports stars who deserve to win something and didn't, let me know what you're looking forward to over the course of the weekend. There's a lot of sport on, so tell me what you're going to be watching. Very briefly, because I'm running on now, I am playing mini golf with the family, which I guess is crazy golf, as a leftover from Father's Day weekend when I was caught late working on the golf, I think it was. I can't remember now what it was last weekend, but yeah, so that's exciting. I'm already looking forward to some mini golf, and also in the AFL, of course, Geelong against Brisbane Lions tonight is going to be fabulous. I say tonight, that's Friday night. Yeah, so Friday morning if you're in the UK, or Friday a sleep time if you're in the US. I don't know, you can figure it out from there. If you can catch it, I think it's on TNT Sports, give it a watch. You've got last year's premiers in the Brisbane Lions. You've got Geelong, who are one of the most fun, exciting teams to watch. It's going to be a fantastic game, and they are doing a special celebration at the start of the game, which I think they've copied from Penn State in the US, where everyone's going to have a white t-shirt, and which is good, brave for winter in rural Victoria. I say rural, it's about an hour outside of Melbourne, I think. But yeah, and they're going to be celebrating Paddy Dangerfield's 350th game. Very exciting, it's going to be awesome. But yeah, that's all I've got. I hope everyone's really well. Send us your messages. Thank you all for them so far. I've got a couple of questions I'm going to come back to over the next, whenever I do these next week. So I'll keep them coming. But yeah, anything you want to talk about, discuss, any opinion you want to say, and we can bounce off. I say we, I mean it's me, isn't it? Then that's great. But I hope you're enjoying them. Thank you as always for all the support. Enjoy all the sport. And I haven't got a thought for the day. That was a slack. I've just remembered. I didn't do my sport. My sports thought for the day is, I wonder if Lionel Messi could play until he's 50, because essentially he can just whip in a free kick by walking up to it. On that note, have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you on the other side.